You kind of hooked them together between the combustion database, because we talked before the show,
Hmm.
combustion database and this predictive capacity that you would serve as an HVAC technician. Will you set it up by kind of describing the database just like we did before the show?
Sure. When we talk about combustion, one of the things that's been lacking is us being able to take the reporting that we do or the combustion data and kind of give it to a customer for them to use going forward, maybe for some future planning. And this falls more into the hands of the commercial side of the business. But for example, and I'm just speaking strictly of our analyzers right now because it's something that we produce, but there's other analyzers that produce great reporting as well. But we produce a report at Sourman that is 3 to 6 pages long, and it runs from 3 to 6 because it depends on how many data points or snapshots in time that you're capturing combustion data, whether it be startup, steady state conditions, shutting down, or whether you just want to have it run for a period of time as you're making adjustments. But what you can do is with the reporting that we produce is you actually have a database that gives you all of the customer's address information, every single model and serial number that you work on, and all the relevant combustion data pertaining to it. Included in that is you also have a section for technician notes and also a section for job photos. And technician notes is important because currently right now, what a technician's doing, if they have to put some pertinent notes into a customer's file, they're calling their office. And then it becomes a telephone game where when it starts off, Johnny is wearing red shoes. And then by the time it gets put into the computer, it's like, no, Johnny is 8 months pregnant and he's crowning and we think he's going to give birth. So the story changes, jokingly.
Yeah.
So we like to have the information that we want to provide come from our mouths and be documented correctly. And that's where that notes section comes into play. So you take all this information and you can create a SharePoint file with it. And it's a PDF that you drop into the SharePoint file. So the next time a technician goes out there, they can actually just copy that PDF file, look at all the combustion data for that location, for that customer, for that model and that serial number, look at all the technician's notes, look at the photos if there were any recordings that were captured, any video, and they know what's going on, from a standpoint of, okay, this is what we did before. This is what maybe I need to look at now, or I want to check certain things to make sure they're still good. But you can take that data, and especially for a commercial customer, and you can use it towards future planning. So in other words, if you want to plan on potentially a rooftop that's becoming a little bit weak in the knees, and you think it's probably going to have to be replaced in the next 1.5 to 2 years, well, what you can do is you can advise that customer, listen, here's your combustion data. Here's what we've done here over the past year. You're seeing some repairs starting to mount. It's going to come to the point where it's like driving a car cross country every day. You don't want to risk it. And that's when these rooftops get long in the tooth and they get older. You don't want to risk them crashing and then have an interruption in service and having to shut the system down, or the system shuts down on its own, has to be replaced. And given all the supply chain woes that we have, trying to order a rooftop is going to be a creative exercise for everybody this year, unless your distributor has anteed up. And as I travel this great land and everything, I see a lot of rooftops and a lot of distributors being ready, but you don't know if they're going to have the one that you need.